Thank you so much, first of all. And I'll just give you a brief about myself. So, my name is Shankar Rai. I'm the founder of Ray Academy. In today's session, you are looking forward towards certain types of guidance. I'm sure that you are looking forward towards certain types of preparation tips related to your APSC mains examinations. And this session is exactly for that, where I'll be sharing with you the ACS mains tips and also the preparation guidance and mentorship programs. I would take you through what we will cover today in this particular webinar or in this particular lecture. And first, I will complete our session. Then, whatever questions you have, you can ask me. In this APSC ACS mains introduction and orientation program, we will basically talk about how to prepare for the ACS mains examinations and how to prepare for ACS mains exam would basically mean that how to improve your answer writing. Okay, because mains examination is all about how well you are writing answer, and depending on which your marks will be counted. So today's webinar or today's lecture is completely focused on how to prepare for mains examination. And I'm sure that you are going to enjoy this session, and I hope that you will learn something new from this today's session. So let us start with what we are going to learn today, and let us talk about one by one as to what would be the outline. So first of all, I will talk about the agenda of today's lecture. Then we will talk in detail about those agenda. First thing first, I will be speaking on APSC ACS mains syllabus and structure. What is the syllabus and structure? That is a brief understanding. So once we understand the syllabus and structure, I will talk about understanding the question pattern. Because most important for the mains examination is to know what type of questions they ask. And moreover, you know that after 2019, I guess, amendment, APSC has changed the pattern. Earlier, there was an old pattern. Now, the pattern itself is inclined towards the UPSC level. So you can say that there are a lot of pattern changes and syllabus also has been redefined. So today's session would be basically on the new pattern. Okay. And after that, I will also briefly discuss about what is our mains program. I will talk about, more importantly, the evaluation process. And there also I will be sharing with you what are the general mistakes that students usually do. Okay. So what are the general mistakes? If you find out, like for example, here in general mistakes, so there are many different types of mistakes, not necessarily from the topic point of view, but also while writing your answer. So what are the mistakes we do and how not to repeat those mistakes, that we will discuss. I will also take you through the answer sheet and also would discuss about how to cover your mains syllabus. Then finally, I will also discuss about how to maximize your score, because ultimately your preparation for the mains should be and must be with an objective to score better, and that we will discuss about. And finally, before we conclude our today's sessions, I will also show you some of the real sample answers from our own students. So this is our agenda, and we will start accordingly. First, about the syllabus, because I believe syllabus is the most important part, and I always tell to the students that one thing you have to literally mug up in your entire preparation, that is your mains syllabus or your prelims syllabus. So that is for must, because if you do not know what is your syllabus, you won't be able to understand what to read and what not. And the important point which I would like to tell you that in today's session, I'm sure that you are looking forward towards certain types of guidance. I'm sure that you are looking forward towards certain types of preparation tips related to your APSC mains examinations. And this session is exactly for that, where I'll be sharing with you the ACS mains tips and also the preparation guidance and mentorship programs. So let us start with today's program and starting with the syllabus. Prelims exam, already you are aware that there are two papers. I think this Sunday, yesterday there was prelims examinations, and many of you might have seen the question paper where somehow it was a mixed related to the prelims questions, which were a couple of questions were straightforward, and couple of questions are, you can say, they are basically like the way UPSC asks. Statement one, two, three, either one, either two. So that is the questions they are asking. Now, looking forward to the main syllabus, we have total how many papers? We have total paper 6 till paper 6 we have. And also there are certain qualifying papers we will discuss about it. Now, yes, yeah. So paper 1 is the essay, paper 2 is general studies 1, paper 3 is general studies 2, paper 4 is general studies 3, paper 5 is general studies 6, paper 6 is general studies 5, and qualifying paper, paper A and paper B. Then you also have optional paper. So let me make it very simple for you. What syllabus do you have? You have one essay paper. Okay. You have GS 1, GS 2, GS 3, GS 4, GS 5. So you have total 5 general studies paper. Then also you have qualifying papers. Qualifying papers are basically, like for example, in your prelims exam, you have the GS2, that is CSAT paper, is qualifying in nature. So that means whatever mark you achieved in this qualifying paper will not be counted in your rank. Okay, or it will not be counted in your final marks. So it will be just a qualifying in nature. So this is qualifying paper, paper A and paper B. So this usually what happens, qualifying paper, one is your English and is another one is your regional language. So I will give you the details about those also. Then we have, with the conclusion, we have 5 general studies paper, 1 essay paper, 2 qualifying papers. One is a general studies and another one is the, I mean, your general English. Another one is the, you have basically the regional language paper. Then you have optional paper. So one optional paper has 2 papers, like paper 1 and paper 2. So you should not consider that there are 2 optional. One optional paper, it has 2, you can say 2 papers, like one optional subject. There are many optional subjects: agricultural, anthropology, botany, chemistry, civil engineering, geology, history. Then you have political science and international relations. So there are so many optional papers, options you have. So optional papers are also equally very important to really get the marks. That means what are the details we have as per your syllabus is concerned? We have your essay paper, 5 general studies paper, 2 qualifying paper, and 1 optional paper. So that is the detail of your syllabus which you have to study. Now, one thing is about this compulsory paper. All of this paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, these are compulsory paper. Why? Because every student must give these exams. But optional papers, what happens? Optional, as the name itself suggests, you can choose any of your optionals. And basically that would depend on what is your interest or what is your background. Most probably the most important criteria to choose an optional paper is that what is your interest. If you're interested in political science and international relations, you should choose it. It is not necessary that you must have that background. If somebody is coming from one technical background, they can take humanity subject. If somebody is coming from humanity background, they can take the technical subjects. Okay, so that purely depends on you, which subject are you interested. Now that is a brief understanding about your optional subject as well as I have given you in the details. Now, is it clear, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sounds great. Now,
Yes.
as we have understood briefly about what are the syllabus we have, now let us talk about in detail what is there inside the syllabus. First thing first is the general studies one. Okay, so in the general studies one, like what is the total mark? Total mark of general studies one is 250 marks. So what are the brief syllabus you have? You have Indian history, heritage, culture, society, geography of India and the world. That means the entire GS1 paper would cover these important sections. Like for example, Indian history, you have ancient Indian history, medieval Indian history, art, architecture, and culture, like Vaishnavi art architecture. Then you have a temple architecture. You have like in Assam, like Bihu as a folk dance. What are the festivals? Then throughout the India also there are many festivals, many architecture, art. In South India, the temple architecture is different. In North India, the temple architecture is different. So you will get a lot of art, architecture, and culture. Then you also do have society and geography. Geography means Indian geography. What is climate? What is geomorphology? What is mountain system? What is the river system of India? Like for example, the Brahmaputra river system. So what is important so about this Brahmaputra river system? Okay, what are the tributaries of Brahmaputra river system? So, and also the economy surrounded with the river system. So that is the entire scenes you are getting in the general studies paper one. So that means under one general studies paper there are many subjects. You have history, you have culture, you have architecture and the heritage. You have modern Indian history, post-independence history, that means after 1947, what has happened. Then salient features of Indian society and diversity of India. You know that our country is a more diverse country. Then you do have what is the role of women, women's organizations, effect of globalization on Indian society, then social empowerment and communalism, regionalism and secularism. And then you have like geography. Okay, so these are the geography part. And I also told you that geography, like for example, what is monsoon, what is cyclone. Then they will also ask you that what is the geography of Assam. Okay, so those things will be coming under this particular general studies paper one. I mean, you can simply say GS1. So that is your syllabus. That means under one GS there are many subjects which you have to cover. Then coming to the GS2, GS2 consists of governance, constitution, polity, social justice, and international relations. That means you can say Indian polity. Like for example, Prime Minister. Who is this Prime Minister? How Prime Minister is elected? What is the role of the President of India? What is the role of Governor of a state? What is the role of, let's say, the legislature of a state? Or what is the role of Parliament? So those things you will be learning about the Indian polity. And what about governance? Governance is all about how government functions and what are the policy level discussions happens. Okay, and here you will learn about the Indian polity and the governance. What about constitution? You know, we have Constitution of India. There are like fundamental rights. We have directive principle of state policies. You have the the preamble, fundamental duties. So you will learn about the importance of the constitution and various important provisions of the Constitution of India. Then along with that, you also do have certain social justice as well as international relations. International relations means like for example, India, China, okay, and like for example, India, Afghanistan, India, US, okay. So those are the international relations. How India maintains its relations, foreign relations with other countries, that would be a part of international relations. Then let us go to GS paper 3. In GS3, you learn about more related to science and technology, economical development, biodiversity, environment, security, and disaster management. So I would say the GS paper 3 is more dynamic compared to GS1 and GS2. Because GS1 paper, you have history, geography, they are like more static. Static means what? That already something has happened in previous, and you just need to remember the concept and you have to know how to apply it. But GS paper 3 is basically what happens. It is more, you can say, dynamic. So dynamic is one other reason why most of the questions would be based on current affairs. Current affairs. And you know that for current affairs, the Hindu and the Indian Express are the two important newspaper which you have to follow. Don't follow both. Both will be a bit of difficult. Follow any one would be sufficient. So economics, you have to understand what is Indian economy. Okay, what are the different types of economical systems? What is microeconomics? What is macroeconomics? What is tax system? What is inflation? What is stock market? Okay, so those things like supply, demand. So those things you have to understand. Similarly, technology, science and technology means what? In technological aspect, you have to learn about like what are the recent developments of DRDO, ISRO. Okay, so any recent innovations, discoveries that you have to understand. Then environment and ecology, like for example, what are the national, let's say for example, what is a yeah. So this is all about your general studies paper 3, which is also under one GS subject. There are many, you can say, different papers. Next is the general studies paper 4. See, general studies paper 4, which is also known as ethics, integrity, and aptitude. Remember, this ethics, integrity, and aptitude is a very unique. I'm sure that this was never a part of your previous syllabus, because this ethics, integrity, and aptitude paper itself is a unique in the sense that there is no definite syllabus and there is no definite resources to study. Why I'm telling you what is ethics, what is integrity, what is aptitude? So they will ask you certain questions. Like for example, if you are a deputy commissioner, okay, if you are a deputy commissioner, and let's say some problems are happening, how are you going to tackle? They will give you a situation, and this ethics, integrity, and aptitude is basically to test that if you are in the position of a district administrator, then what would be your action? So this is a very important, and you can say that learning ethics, integrity, and aptitude is always a in process. It cannot be like there is certain ready-made resources available and you just mug up. That is not possible. Okay. So you have to learn this ethics, integrity, and aptitude with a lot of practice, and also thought-provoking and critical analysis. So that would be important. So there will be many cases. They will give you some situation. They will ask you that in this situation, what you will do. So we have to be ready with that situations. Now this is all about your general studies 1, 2, 3, 4 paper, which is also similar to the UPSC civil services syllabus. Now there is additional paper that is called as general studies 5, GS5. GS5 is specifically on Assam. That means apart from GS 1, 2, 3, 4, you have GS5 paper, GS5 paper. That is basically Assam history, Assam culture, Assam geography, Assam governance, and Assam security and disaster management, biodiversity, environment, specifically related to Assam only. Okay, that means this paper completely based on the state of Assam. So you have to know your state very clearly and also conceptually. So these are your general studies 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 paper, which you have for your main syllabus, and you have to cover it thoroughly. Going forward, as I told you that there are two qualifying papers. One qualifying paper is basically your English paper. Okay. And one qualifying paper is basically your English paper. And in the English paper, you have, like, for example, essay, comprehension, precise writing, short essay. So that is your qualifying paper, simple English. And the another paper is basically your regional language paper. Regional language paper, what are the regional language you have? Assamese, Bengali, and Bodo language. Okay. So Assamese, Bengali, and Bodo language. So these are the three regional language papers. It depends basically. Assam is as I am more familiar to the state. So there are many parts of Assam uh, where the school medium itself is Assamese. Either the students have learned Bengali or Bodo. So APSC gives you an opportunity to write answers specifically on your regional language, whichever is either Assamese, Bengali, or Bodo language. So this is what is your qualifying paper. Now, that is all about your syllabus. What is your syllabus? I told you just clearly. You have, for example, you have here one essay paper. Essay would be basically, essay nowadays are asking more current affairs based. And you have GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4, GS5. GS5 is specifically on Assam. Then you have two qualifying papers. One is the English, another one is your regional paper. And why the name itself is qualifying? Because the mark will not be counted. Okay, it will be only qualifying. That means minimum, like the APSC will decide whether it is 30% or not. So minimum you have to achieve. Like for example, in your prelims exam for GS2, minimum 67 marks you need to qualify the examination. So here also, first of all, your paper will be evaluated. That means the qualifying paper will be evaluated first. If you qualify these two papers, then only your remaining papers will be evaluated. So this is all about your syllabus. Did you understand, all of you? Did you get the idea?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so I think I see there are new students. Kanishka, Sanidul, Rohan, how are you all? Sanidul, Rohan, Kanishka, can you hear me?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, sir.
Okay, good. So I
Sir,
hope you are understanding. Okay,
yes, sir. We're listening.
yes. Now we have understood the general studies syllabus. Now, next agenda of our discussion would be to show you some sample questions. Let me tell you one thing, that as your APSC has changed the pattern and the syllabus of the exam, so the old syllabus and old pattern is no longer valid. And this examination would be the first exam with the new pattern. That means there is no previous year exam according to this new pattern, because the new pattern itself is, this is the first exam. I mean this APSC 2020 exam, which happened in 2021. So that means the best way to refer is the UPSC syllabus and UPSC pattern. So once we understand the questions asked in UPSC, then we will be able to understand what type of questions they will ask in APSC also. But remember, the level of UPSC will be always high and the level of APSC would be bit of easy. Okay, it will not be as difficult as UPSC, but it will also not be as easy as it was earlier. So what did I say? As there was no previous year exam, because after changing the pattern and syllabus in 2019 rules, this is the first exam happening. So we don't know what will be the previous year question. So that is the reason the best way to understand the pattern of the questions is to see what type of questions asked in UPSC exam. Then once we understand the UPSC pattern, it will give us an understanding. So this will be the type of questions and we should be ready. And moreover, when we understand the higher level, that is UPSC, automatically we will be also able to understand the APSC pattern and we should be ready for that. So the first thing is about the general studies 1, GS1 paper. So what is the syllabus for the GS1? We have like history, geography, and etc. I mean, there are a couple of few topics are left. So this is the latest of UPSC exam 2020. I mean the recent one. Let us understand what is the question. For example, see, they are asking the rock cut architecture represents one of the most important source of our knowledge of early Indian art and history. Discuss. Understand this question. They are not asking you what is rock cut architecture. This is not the question. The question is that how the rock cut architecture represents the important sources. What is a rock cut architecture? Rock cut architecture is basically, in our early time, like in our the early stage of art architecture, like Bhimbetka art. There are many Elephanta caves. There are many places in India where the caves are basically the stones were carved out. Okay, so there are many different beautiful architectures, and also you can see there are many temples in India. Basically, the rock, okay, the rock itself was being carved out, and how this gives the importance of the knowledge of Indian art and history, how rich our art and history that we can understand from rock cut architecture. So this question itself seems to be easy, but when you read it, you have to first understand what is the demand of the question. Normally, what happens? Normally, we don't understand what is the demand of the question. And directly what we do, directly we start writing. If it is rock cut architecture, we only see the a simple word and we start writing that, okay, this is the rock cut architecture and so forth. So we have to understand, first of all, we have to read the question paper carefully. And if we don't understand in first attempt, we have to read it again and again to really understand the demand of the question. So of course, I mean, if you don't read it in detail, so you won't be able to answer. I'm just reading you a couple of questions. Like you can see there is a recent questions related to current affairs. And what is that question? COVID-19 pandemic accelerated class inequalities and poverty in India. Comment. See, this type of questions you will not get in any book. This type of questions you'll be getting if you read the newspaper editorial carefully. So the question is not about explain what is COVID-19 pandemic. No, that is not the question. This question is asking that COVID-19 pandemic accelerated the class inequalities and poverty in India. That means what has happened? That the class inequalities. We have rich class people. We have another category who are poor. So how the rich class people are getting a better access? Okay, and also the poor class people, they are not getting the healthcare that much of facilities. Earlier it was there, but it was not visible. This pandemic has created that visibility. It has accelerated. So we need to explain this in detail. Okay. So now let me read a couple of few questions more. Yes, you see this. How have the digital initiatives in India contributed to the functionings of Indian education system in our country? Elaborate the answer. That means how the digital initiatives. So that means you have to explain what are the digital initiatives by Government of India, like Swayam applications, like e-Gyan course, like there are many online courses that Government of India has started. Okay, so we have to explain that earlier what used to happen. Earlier the education system was only physical, but now it was a hybrid model. Now government is including more ICT, information and communication technology, more like software into the education system, so that the resources will not be affected. So if even if the physical classes are closed, so people will be getting a good quality education online also. And not only the online education, but also the assessment structures. Like you might have seen that there are many exams has happened during the pandemic through online process itself. So you have to explain what are the policies or the schemes that Government of India has initiated for development of education system, especially in the digital initiatives. So this is a part of your, okay, this is a part of your, you can say GS1 paper. Let us understand GS2 paper. GS2 paper, what happens? The syllabus itself is related to the constitution and polity. For example, I'm just giving you an example. Okay, so as a case of example, okay, as a case of example, uh, let's say this one, recent amendments to the Constitution to Information Act, that means the Right to Information Act, RTI. So RTI have profound impact on the autonomy and independence of Information Commission. Discuss. So it is asking about recent amendments. So if we are not aware related to the what are the recent amendments, we won't be able to answer this. Let me ask a couple of okay. Let me read out few of the more questions. For example, this one. Read it. Which steps are required for constitutionalization of a commission? Do you think imparting constitutionality to the National Commission for Women would ensure greater gender justice and empowerment in India? So that means if you look at the questions also, the questions itself are more analytic. The questions are itself are more, issue related. They are not simply asking explain or define or write the definition. They don't ask these type of questions. They ask you which are more analytical perspective. Okay, so we should be more ready to understand these questions again and again. And if we remember, ready-made answer of these questions you will not get anywhere. You will not get in any books. You will not get in any resources. These answers would be only based on your comprehension, and that means in order to answer these questions you have to understand couple of, like, what is National Commission for Women, what are the issues for National Commission for Women, what is a gender justice, what are the issues related to women in the gender justice, and what is the constitutionalization. So when you understand this particular Indian polity related topics, you'll be able to answer it easily. Going next, GS paper 3. GS paper 3 where you have like technology, economic, etc. Like for example, define potential GDP, explain its determinants, what are the factors that have been inhibiting India from realizing its potential GDP. We have like, what is GDP? GDP stands for gross domestic factor, gross domestic product, gross domestic product. Okay, so the total value of goods and services produced within a country within a financial year, that is called as gross domestic product. So this question is asking about define the potential GDP. What is potential GDP? So this question is related to economy. Then let me read out a couple of other questions. Like for example, how does the draft environment impact assessment notification 2020 differ from existing environment impact assessment 2006? This is more current affairs based. I told you that GS3 is the most of the questions you'll be finding are based on contemporary. Contemporary means current affairs based. That means you have to understand whether it is economics or whether it is environment and ecology or science and technology. Every questions would be mostly related to current affairs based. So that means before your examination, last 1 year of current affairs you should be ready with. So that are the detailed questions related to GS3. Let me also read out a couple of few questions more so that you understand in a better. For example, look at this. This question is asking what are the key features of National Clean Air Program initiated by Government of India. So this is related to environment and ecology. Okay, so that means they are directly asking questions, and this type of questions you will be getting easily from the newspaper. The answers are easily you will be getting from newspaper if you read the newspaper regularly. As I told you, either Indian Express or the Hindu, any of the newspaper would be sufficient. Let us understand next GS paper 4. GS paper 4, what did I tell you? I told you that it is more of like, the questions would be more of related to understanding your own mind. Look at this thing. For example, it is asking what teachings of Buddha are most relevant today and why. So, Lord Buddha, Gautam Buddha. So, what teachings of Buddha, what Buddha has taught us, and how the teachings are relevant today and why. Okay, and like for example, let me read out a couple of questions. Like for example, this one: the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Mahatma Gandhi explained this. So that means the GS paper 4 is basically the evaluator will try to find out how do you think about a certain situation, or how do you think about a certain approach or about a certain context. So this is the details related to GS paper 4. Let me read out, like for example, there is a passage it is being given, you can read it in their details, and then after they are asking certain questions. So they are giving you a long passage, a paragraph. Then they will be asking you, for example, ethical issues involved in reappropriation of the funds, and given the need for proper utilization of public funds, discuss the options available to Rajesh Kumar. Is resigning a worthy option? That means, what did I tell you? That they will give you a situation. So this is the situation. Then they will ask you certain questions. What you will do if you are in the position. So again, I'm repeating, this paper would be basically, to test your mind on a particular situation. And this is very important. Then after GS4, you have General Studies 5 paper. As I told you, we understand the syllabus, and from the syllabus itself, we know that General Studies 5 paper would be specifically based on the Assam. That means Assam geography, Assam governance, of Assam polity, and Assam history. Now, then you have essay. Now, if you read the essay, nowadays what is happening, the essays are more contemporary. Like for example, see, life is long journey between human being and being human. Very beautiful statement. Life is a long journey between human being and being human. Okay, being human is different. To act as a human is different. Everybody is a human being, but sometimes there are many people they don't act as a human. So this is the questions. Another one, look at this. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So this type of essay you'll be getting there. Now coming to English, if you read the English paper, look at this. Write an essay in about 600 words. Indian judicial system needs overhauling. COVID-19 pandemic and Indian economy. Okay, then they will give you a passage. After that passage, you will be asked certain questions, and you should, like for example, these are the questions, and you should be able to answer these questions. And this English paper itself is qualifying in nature. So this is what did I tell you? I have given you what are the syllabus. You have 5 general studies paper, 2 compulsory paper, that is basically qualifying paper. Okay, English and your regional language. Regional language either your Assamese or Bodo or Bengali. Then you have 1 essay paper. And also I have given you the details about what are the syllabus. After giving the details about what are the syllabus, I have also shown you that types of questions or pattern of the question. And one thing you have to remember is after changing of the pattern by the APSC, this is the first time. So that is the reason why the best way to refer the pattern is the UPSC questions. Okay. Then this is the details about your mains general studies program. I mean your mains syllabus of APSC, and you have to cover these many subjects. Am I clear this much, or any doubt from this much? Yes, anyone? Chandramita, Nitish, Pratyush, Rohan.
Clear, sir.
Clear? Okay. Now
Yes, sir.
let me. Okay, very good. So I have told you the details. Now let me tell you about our briefly about the mains program, and later on I will explain you in detail. So the most important part of the mains program is that we ourselves, all of our teachers, they themselves have gone through the preparation stages, and they will be guiding you. So what will be our mains program? Our mains program would be specifically on based on the the guidance classes, the handholding supports, and the mock test series, and the value added notes. But I will show you this is the important section. Understand your ability to score more mark. And why? Because higher is the mark, higher is the chance to get qualified. And when you give the APSC exam, it is not only to qualify but also to secure ACS rank. And you can get the into ACS rank if you are in top like 100 and 120. And to get into those top rank, your mains examinations answer has to be better than the others. Okay, and that is the reason if you don't know what are the mistakes in your answer writing, if you don't know how to write the answers, then basically you will be in a difficult position. So here what we do in our organization, all of our teachers, when you write an answer, we evaluate this answer properly. See, basically there are 2 things in the answer writing. Number 1, do you know the answer or not? Okay, if this question comes, do you know the answer or not? If the answer is no, then basically there is no option. You have to read and you have to know the answer. Okay, like for example, if it is asking about rock cut architecture, if you don't know what is rock cut architecture, what you will write? And definitely you cannot write something else because this is a APSC exam and they will catch you. So first of all, you have to know the topic, and that is the reason you have to learn the subjects and its topics. But if it is The situation number two, that you know the answer, but you don't know how to write the answer. Then here is the chance to make you learn how to write the answer. So what we do and what an evaluator checks basically in when you write an answer, for example, there is a question of rock cut architecture. Okay, then how we evaluate an answer? We evaluate an answer, or any evaluator will answer that what is your structure? Have you written any introduction? What is the body part? What is the conclusion? And how have you articulated this answer? Then we will also look into what is your content. Okay, have you understood? If it is about the importance of rock cut architecture and you have just written that what is rock cut architecture, both are different answers. So first of all, you have to understand what is the demand of the question. Have you given any examples or not? Have you given any reports like government reports or not? What is the quality of answer? Many students, what they do, first the initial 3 to 4 sentences would be good, last 3 to 4 sentences would be good, but in between they will write like they will write a song or they will write a story. That is irrelevant. So many students, they don't get the mark because their demand, they don't understand the demand of the question and the content is not of quality. Then what happens? The presentation. What is the flow of answer? It should be like connected. If you write something in the first paragraph which does not connect with the second paragraph, then probably the chances of getting more mark is less. And then what is the language and expression? You can criticize, but if you are too negative to everything, then that will be also problematic. So when you join our mains program, we evaluate in detail and we provide you in detail related to this under these parameters. And the teacher themselves, not only they will evaluate your parameters, but also after that evaluation, you get a proper feedback. And after that, we also conduct like the way we are discussing. So we also conduct a one-to-one, the live discussion classes on each test series. So that is going to be a very much beneficial. So this is our marking system which we have. And regarding our organizations, already there are, as I told, I have been associated with many organizations. And in Guwahati, I was there in more than like 3.5 to 4 years. There are many officers who have already, whom I have personally also trained, like rank number 9, Sangeeta. You can see, she has written a very beautiful note to me. And Bhargav Kalita, rank 62, ACS officer. Supriya Balwari, rank 80, ACS officer. These are 2018 batch students. Then Himadri Bora, who is currently in Majuli. So she herself was a student of mine. So there are many ACS officers, more than 50 ACS officers. I personally have trained them, and in this entire 3.5 to 4 years of time period. And I'm sure that I'll be along with me, and as well as there are many other qualified teachers who will be ready to help you out in your preparation journey. So that is brief about our mains answer writing program, and also the live classes and etc. we also conduct separately. Now, let me tell you, there are a couple of mistakes that generally students do. What are the mistakes? For example, let's say this is your blank answer sheet. Look at here. In your answer sheet, somebody is writing 786. Do not write this. Okay. Like for example, somebody is giving this type of symbol. Do not do that. So if you do that, they will just cut it down. Somebody is also like writing something. Do not do that. Okay. Like this type of symbols. Never do that on the answer sheet. Then you can see these are the mistakes where there is a red color cross mark. Then like for example, in the left hand side, you have to mention your answer numbers. I mean the question numbers. 10, 45, 60, 85. Like this 45, 60, 85 are not relevant because these are not questions. Question numbers what? Maximum 11, 12, 15 or 20. After that 45 number of questions, generally in question paper, it doesn't have like 45 number of questions. Like this is for example 10.00. This seems to be 10 a.m. which is also not relevant. In question paper, why somebody will mention the timing? Okay. So this, we should not do that. Here also you can see, we should not do these things. Like for example, here it is asking write the name of examinations, but somebody has written beneath somebody's names. So we should be very careful while filling up the form. Like for example, name of the examination, somebody has written the roll number. Okay. Like somebody has written the roll number, but he has the cut down, but it is clearly visible. So if somebody is cutting down, it should be like proper, so that it is not visible. Okay. Then let me show you something else. Like for example, you see somebody has written an application to the editor-in-chief Hindustan Times. Okay, so we shouldn't do that. These are wrong. Like for example, look at this. Somebody has written blue color, then somebody has written black colors. This is a gel pen, this is a blue ball pen. So we should not change these colors frequently. We should not change from gel to ball pen. So that is not acceptable. Like somebody, sir, please, this is my last attempt. Please examine this. What is that? Relevantly or something. सर मैडम यह मेरा अंतिम प्रयास है कृपया सहानुभूति पूर्वक इसकी जांच करें. I mean, they are basically requesting, so we shouldn't do this. Okay, this puts a lot of negative impression. Okay, then there are certain positive things also. I'll also show you. Like, yes, if somebody has written something, but that is wrong. So what is the best way? Just cut it down like this and write down cancel. So when you write down cancel, so this is the more appropriate way. Okay, this is the more appropriate way. So these are the general mistakes we do in our answers. It's not about how much do you know, it's also about how well you are writing your answers. Now, coming in the last portions, this is the basically our blank answer sheet, where you will be getting a chance to write down in between margin, and there is a time limit of the examination. There is a word limit of the examinations. Okay, the questions. So you should be ready to write down and to complete your mains answers within that particular time frame. Let me show you certain sample answers. For example, these answers are written by one of our student. Explain the theory of separation of power, discuss its relevance in India. Okay, so there is a student who is currently taking coaching with us, and the person has written an answer. Very beautiful. Like, look at neat and clean. There is not a single like scratch or any neat and answer. And the handwriting evaluator does not expect the handwriting should be so beautiful. It should be readable. Somebody should be like, if you look at this particular answer, you are able to read it. So it should be readable. What is theory of separation of power? First, he is giving an introduction. Separation of power means sharing of powers. And theory of separation of power is based on the concept and based on the ideas of individual freedoms. Then he is writing who has given, like Montesquieu has given legislature, executive, and judiciary. Then in the body part, he is writing how this separation of power is relevant, like Yeshwananda Bharati case and etc. And like for example, the USA has adopted the separation of power, how the separation of power is relevant to India. Then here look at how beautifully he has written legislature, executive, and judiciary, and how they are interconnected. Okay, but in India there is a parliamentary form of government. He is also explaining in a like couple of diagrammatic way. Okay, so then finally in 1973 in the Keshavananda Bharati case, the Supreme Court has said separation of power is a part of basic structure. So this should be a proper answer. So if you happen to write in this way, then definitely you will be getting highest mark. Highest mark, for example, if the total mark of the question is 10 marks, so this will be like 7. That is the high. Don't expect 10 out of 10. It will be like 6 to 7. If you can get it, that is the highest mark. But you should be able to write out the way this person has written this answer. So this is one of the best answer which I have seen, and I have just kept it for you people to look at it. Let me show you another sample question. This question has been written by another of our students. The question is basically, is India a quasi-federal? Okay, that is the question. Look at how beautifully he has started. Indian Union is unitary state with a subsidiary federal. That's a clear-cut introduction. If I read it, then I am able to know, okay, so this is how he is starting this answer. So then he is also writing some of the people like Casey Ware, who has given certain aspects related to the federalism of India. Then he's also writing like way forward. What should be the in the conclusion? You should give some certain suggestions. The constitution avoids the tight module of federation and could be both unitary as well as federal according to the requirements of the time and circumstances. So if you happen to understand, these are the two questions, sample questions which I have shown you. They have written in such a beautiful way. I mean, they will be able to get maximum mark. And in order to write this type of answer, okay, in order to write this type of answer, you should be ready. And the most important part for the readiness is basically practice, practice, and practice. And answer writing, remember, is all about how much have you practiced. Okay, because if you know a topic and you don't know how to write those answers on paper, so that's basically it's not going to help. And when you join the answer writing program, we provide a lot of practice, like this general studies as well as optional papers we have. I myself teach the political science optional paper. So we do a lot of practicing sessions with the students where eventually what happens, the ultimate objective is where your, I would say, your answer writing approach would be better. So that is the whole sessions which I thought to discuss with you people. Just to summarize what we have discussed, number one, I have told you what is the syllabus. Number two, I have told you the detail of that syllabus. Then I have also shown you a couple of sample papers of UPSC as a reference to your examinations. Then I have showed you that what is our answer writing program and how we teach and who are the relevant toppers. Then I have also shown you the our some of the sample answers which are written by some of our students, and also I have shown you some of the general mistakes made by students. So that is the details related to the APSC mains and what is APSC mains. Now coming to specifically questions related to how you should prepare, I guess you know that the time between prelims and mains is very less, so you should prepare with a lot of dedication and with a lot of sincerity. There is no time you can waste. So that is the reason completion of the syllabus should not be starting from ABCD, because you know already what is the basic foundation, basic level of your preparation. You should always focus on what is relevant for the mains and how to complete. Let's say, for example, there is a preamble topic of Indian polity. So what are the mains related answers that I can understand from this preamble, or what are the mains related questions can be asked from this preamble chapter? So that focus, your approach has to be dedicatedly, I would say, mains approach. And you have to plan your study accordingly. And for that reason, I would suggest you that whatever time period you have, like 2 months or 3 months or 4 months, you should divide your time monthly, then weekly, and you divide your subject. So you already know what is your syllabus. You divide your subjects, how many days or how many weeks you will take to complete one subject. So all of you are different people, all of you are different aspirants. So that is the reason why, let's say, for example, for one student, understanding a topic will take 15 minutes. For some students, it might take 1 hour. So that is the reason you have to sit and you have to think what is your strength, how much time do you need to understand one topic, and accordingly you create your timetable, so which will be best suitable for you. Okay, so this is the way how you can basically complete your syllabus. And apart from that, if you need any kind of help from us related to any kind of guidance, and the best thing about our organization is that we provide one-to-one mentorship. One-to-one mentorship is basically like, for example, the way I'm talking with you people. So there will be a dedicated personal mentor which will be assigned to you. So where with whom you can discuss with the person, with the expert teacher simultaneously, either in Google Meet or maybe in this, so any of the communication medium, so that you don't feel alone. You feel that yes, there is someone, there is a guide with me throughout my preparation journey. Okay, so that is the details about the mains program, as well as what is the APAC, CC, or ACS mains and how to prepare for it. And now before we conclude today's program, let me understand if you have any specific questions to ask. Please feel free to ask any questions you have.
Sir, I am actually pursuing my master's. How
Hmm.
can I actually get benefit from your program? If
You are
there is
currently
any
doing
program?
masters.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, as you are currently doing our master, see, all of our programs are live online. Okay, and so you can take off our classes, which are live online classes, and the way, like for example, via Google Meet, now you can see me. I can also now I cannot see you, but in our classes, what happens? So we eventually discuss a lot, so that you can take up. And have you got the number of Bisakha madam?
No, sir.
Yes, sir. She called me today.
Okay. So Pratyush, I guess, did you receive an email?
Yes, sir.
In the email, there might be a number.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
Or else, let me just write down a number in the chat box. You please note down 76060242005. I have sent it in the in-call messages of your this Google Meet classroom. You can check it. 76060242005. So this is our official number. You can just call this number if you want any kind of guidance. So they will guide you. This is also our website. You can go through our website, and they will guide you accordingly. Okay, Pratish?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. And any specific questions? Anyone? Kanishka? Rohan?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Please ask any. Feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer your
So
questions.
actually, I have some couple of questions, but I don't. Right now, I'm unable to question you actually.
Okay.
So yeah, sir, I have noted down the number that you have provided just now.
Okay.
So
That is the number which is available with me, but I am available only in the Telegram.
okay,
Okay.
sir.
That is the official number, but I am having access only for the Telegram. So if you want to discuss with me directly, so reach me in the Telegram with that number.
Okay, sir.
So I hope that you learned something today.
Definitely, sir. Sir, thank you
Okay.
Yes.
so much.
Okay. So thank you so much for today's session, and it was a great pleasure to interacting with you people. Thank you.